Good morning, everybody. Well, it is a Tuesday and it is my Weight Watcher weigh-in day. I did not go last week. Those of you that are subscribed to my channel and may have seen my video from last week, I had a lot of company, and so I did not go to my Tuesday weigh-in, and I thought I would make it by the end of the week, which I didn't. So when I go in this Tuesday, it will be for last week's weigh-in, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed because even with all of the company and the great fun we had and the get-togethers, let's just say there was a lot of eating, a lot of laughing, a lot of sharing, and then more food and more eating. So I would say it was probably my first biggest challenge since I've started my journey. I think I did pretty well. I think I pretty much made good food choices, but there were a couple of situations where it was like, oh, just one more bite, just one more bite. So I will check in with you after my weigh-in and we'll see how I did.
Hi guys, thumbs up. Whew. I did great. I am so excited. I lost 6 ounces and I will take it because I'm telling you, this past week and a half was my most difficult challenge since I've been on Weight Watchers. Because I had so much company. There's a holiday in there, the 4th of July, and you know what all that food is like. So I'm just thrilled. I'm thrilled because I can share with you some of the meals that we had. And I just tried to just sample a taste of those things that I realized weren't exactly the best for me. So, I mean, we had homemade pasta sauce, homemade meatballs. I made the most delicious lasagna, I think, that I've ever served or made. It was a new recipe that I tried from the Test Kitchen, America's Test Kitchen. It was absolutely delicious. And we had spare ribs one night that I made in the Instant Pot and then put just under the broiler with some barbecue sauce. And then a couple of days later, we had smoked ribs and we had steak and, baked potato. I did get a couple of fish meals in there. I had some salmon that when we went out to eat at O'Charlie's, which was, really, really good. But then, we ended up doing baked ravioli casserole. Another night we had Paula Deen's banana pudding. Yes, and I did indulge in that because I haven't had it in several years. And I thought, okay, it's here. It looks delicious. I'm just going to have myself a serving size of it. So I did that. And I did eat it, but I was very mindful of what was going on that day, knowing we were going to have that. And I just kind of tried to scale back. I mean, I made homemade macaroni and cheese and slider sandwiches that are like the ham and cheese with the poppy seed mixture on it, and then you bake it. But, here's the thing. I wanted to eat like 3 or 4 of those sliders because they're on those Hawaiian rolls and they're not that big, but I didn't. I broke one off after it came out of the oven, put it on my plate, and I put maybe 3 tablespoons of the homemade macaroni and cheese because, that is totally loaded with lots of cheese and it's so good. And so I'm just thrilled because I didn't go last week to my meeting. I was just so busy and I hadn't even had the combination of all that food. But then to go in this week and weigh in, and it's just, I lost 6 ounces. I'm very happy. I'm very, very happy, very excited about it. And now I am just going to get back on track. And I think it's supposed to be a little bit cooler, and try to get my bike riding back in, and just stick with my meal regimens, and back on track. So that's my update for this week. And like I said, I'm excited. I am at the grocery store now so that I can pick up some fruits and some more vegetables that I need. And I want to talk a little bit about just a few tips that I think did help me along the way. And I will make this brief, but one of the things I did was kind of monitored, okay, what are we having for this entire day? And of course, with a house full of people, you want to take into consideration what they like and what they're eating. So I did a lot of meal prepping ahead of time so that I could have everything ready, and knowing what was going to be served really helped me, because one morning I made bacon and a souped up French toast. And so I knew, I really am going to pass on the French toast. I really didn't want the bacon. So I kind of stuck to my protein drink with fruit in it. And that satisfied me. And I knew that's going to be my meal for breakfast. For lunch, I tried to stick with vegetables, things that were readily available, fruit, maybe a couple slices of turkey meat, something like that. And then for dinner, I just ate what everybody else was sitting down to eat, or what we had prepared. I know one day over the weekend we made, my goddaughter made a corn spice dip with cream cheese and rotel sauce and fresh corn, and it was just so good. And you eat that with chips. So I did have that. I just grabbed a plate. I didn't stand over the dip and the chips and just keep going back, at random, because then I think you tend to eat much more than you should. So I kind of just scooped it out onto a plate, grabbed the chips that I wanted, ate that, and then I think I went back for one more chip and one more little tiny scoop. That was it. And I cut it off, and I just said, okay, no more. And then for dinner, I scooped out, we had a baked crock pot ravioli dish that was really good, and I scooped out 2 ravioli, put it on the side. I had 1 meatball, and no garlic bread. I passed on it. And then for dessert, I knew we had the banana pudding that is to die for. But as a treat, and not to feel deprived, when I was done, I pulled myself away from the table, away from the food. And of course, just, not rushing anybody else, but trying to get everything put away as quickly as possible. And when my guests left, then I was able to go through the refrigerator and divide up what I could put in the freezer, because I had leftover macaroni and cheese, and that always freezes up so good. I even froze a portion of the sliders that had never gotten even used, because I did make 2 batches of it, and put it in the freezer. So another time when I have company, it's easy to heat up. It's a good little sandwich to have with soup, or just, it's cheese and ham on Hawaiian rolls. And then, of course, you're making a little mixture sauce with butter and, poppy seed and stuff. So it's not something you want to eat every day, but putting things away, pulling yourself away from the table, having a plan, knowing what's going to go on that day. And I knew when we were going out to dinner that I was already going to order the salmon and have that as a meal. And usually I eat half of a baked potato, but that particular day I ate the entire baked potato and the salmon and a salad. And so I knew that I just made sure that there were days that I was pretty much trying to keep at least 1 or 2 of my meals at 0 points, or keep it so low down to 2 points. And another thing I did was just try not to get into the habit, because it's so easy to do. You want your guests to feel comfortable and you want to be able to entertain them, but you also want to make sure that you're just not, when we were engaged in the kitchen, standing around the food where the dips were and everything, and people were, I had to portion mine out on a plate and just kind of, just sit at the end where everybody was at, just standing and, getting their chips. And, when you're around that food, the tendency is, as soon as you're done with your last, is to put more on. So I just kind of pushed myself away, finished, waited, and then just thought, okay, one more, and that will be good for me. So I think it's a mindset. I think the things that you think about, what can I do to help myself? And, even though I could have had a piece of French toast and a slice of bacon, I chose not to use my points for breakfast because I knew the meal for supper was going to be higher in points. So I think it's all a mindset, and it's the process and the journey that you're on. I feel so much better. I feel good. And I'm happy to say that down 6 ounces, it's good. So until my next video, be kind, be humble, and age gracefully. Bye.